RogueCon 23. That's right. It is here. It's not back. It's here. It's the first one. Join the ultimate celebration of digital content with its creators, passionate fans, and industry experts. It is all happening in downtown Waco across multiple venues, January 20th through the 22nd of 2023. Now, if you want to go, you got to get tickets, and tickets are on sale at RogueCon23.com. That's RogueCon, RogueCon 23.com. Be there. I'm going to be there. Everybody's going to be there. Let's go.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all.
What is up? Back on video, back in your ears. However you decide to watch us or listen to us, we are grateful. What day is it, Caroline?
Thursday. Thirsty Thursday.
Thirsty Thursday. So what are you
Thirsty.
quenching your thirst with?
Well, we decided to go, what is this? Homemade? Texas made, Austin made, Tito's.
Tito. Gotta love some Tito. And I went with some Eddie. I don't know why I always go back. Like if I just
It's just easy because you just,
yeah.
well, it's because I was going to ask alcoholics, but we're not really, but you can really just basically drink it straight.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's already mixed. I've got deep Eddie lemon. So to me, that's mixed. Like you don't need to mix it with anything because the lemon is the mixer.
I remember the first time I had it just straight and I was like, ugh.
Yeah. And now it's like breakfast.
And now it's basically breakfast.
So we got some Austin. Shout out to our Austin listeners, which we have a brand new young
Oh, yeah. We're getting younger.
listener.
We are getting younger. So proud of it.
So I did a shout out to Sophie, who I thought was our youngest.
Sorry, Sophie.
But we got a 13-year-old. These are just great parents.
I know. I mean, shout out to the parents.
This is how I raised my kid, is they got to be raised knowing how crazy people around them are.
Clear.
Right?
Yes.
So
absolutely.
what was our youngest listeners? Was it Jonathan? Shout out to Jonathan.
Oh, did you tell us his name?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot the name. But.
So
Yeah.
Shell Shock, one of our former co-workers, trainers we used to train with, she lets her son, and
He's wanting to hear about the Zodiac
yeah.
killer.
Let me make sure that's his name. Yep, Jonathan. Shout out, Jonathan.
Well, first of all, what are we doing this month? Did we talk about that?
Yeah, so let's talk about this new month. We're calling it. We think we're calling it.
What happened? What had happened?
What happened was not really.
Not really. We don't really know what had happened.
WTF.
Basically.
What the firecracker happened to whoever.
Because it can include unsolved, cold cases.
Yeah. They'll probably, I think they'll probably mostly be unsolved or like cold cases. And so that's why it's like, what happened to whoever? And I got a good one, and I have a recent one for you today. So it's not cold, but it is unsolved, and it's very controversial.
Excuse me?
How many? Controversial?
You've been drinking a while?
No.
It's okay. I don't know how to speak a lot and say words, but I can't.
The person I'm talking about was going to school to be a speech path. So he could have helped us if he didn't get killed.
Definitely could. Too bad.
He was going to change some lives through speech. Caroline, what do you have?
Well, so since I've been able to crawl out of Ted Bundy's butthole for a whole week now, there's a lot going on Netflix. There's a lot of crime. There's a lot of con shows happening.
Yeah, I feel like.
So I know we've talked about The Dropout and the Tinder Swindler and
what's The Dropout?
The Dropout was with Elizabeth Holmes, creating that fake something that it could take your blood and it could tell you, oh, you have like this disease and all this stuff with the prick of a needle. You get all this stuff.
Nope.
So she was basically like wealthy growing up, and she was able to oh, she wanted to be like Steve Jobs. So like she like eventually changed. She would always wear like black tops. Like she would try to dress like him. And then she started talking like this.
Oh.
Like really low. Because
Was she transitioning?
No, she just wanted to talk like Steve Jobs.
Okay.
And she's real weird. And she's got all these like, I guess when people give you money to like back you in your business, like she would get like millions of dollars to like people to, so she basically like, she went to trial and everything.
So we basically suck. I just want somebody to buy our alcohol on Thursdays.
I mean, that's it.
Let's just think of a con.
Okay.
We'll do that. We'll tell them next episode.
Yeah, let's think of it because we could just get some ideas from these con shows. And then there's Bad Vegan.
Yes, my principal told me about that, but I haven't been able to watch it.
Okay, well, it's about this lady named Sarma, and she starts dating this guy named Mr. Fox, but his real name is like Anthony Schwartz, Anthony Sargini or some whatever. Yeah. And he's... Apparently he was like, they met online and he was like supposed to like some good looking guy. And then he's like 300 pounds. So
in real life.
Yeah. And they like, I don't know. He tried to tell her that her dog was going to like live forever. And like,
I love when you try to tell the story, but you don't tell any part of the story.
I know.
So he's conning her out of what?
He was saying her dog was going to be immortal if she like, and she would like give him all this. He would like ask for money, and she would just give him money, all this millions of dollars. Like
you would have, if somebody told you Mark Parker could live forever, if
sure.
you did 4 of these things, you would do all 4 of those things.
Yes. Unless you wanted me to give you like $10,000, I'd be like, where do you want me to find that? Go on a tree? Like, where am I supposed to get that? But I had to stop watching the show because I was confused about it. Because I didn't know if I was supposed to like her or not. Like, I didn't know if she was good or bad. Because then she like goes to jail or she goes to prison.
Oh, so you kind of liked the person.
I thought she was the innocent one. And then it comes out like she's still like tweeting and everything. Like, she's still like, she's out. But so then she's saying how Netflix has portrayed her as like they totally like twisted up the whole story and stuff. So that's why I was like, I didn't finish it.
Too much.
I couldn't. I didn't know what I was watching.
Okay.
I went a little cross-eyed.
Okay, so I have to tell y'all that I was tagged in an article in one of our local towns. Shout out to Lacey Lakeview. Oh, this is kind of crazy. It's alarming, kind of crazy. I should have had up the article to read it, but I will paraphrase it. Basically, there are too many cats in Lacey Lakeview, or somebody else thinks besides me, that cats are coming up dead.
People are not getting them spayed and neutered.
And they are being found with plastic bags around their head and chip bags around
bags.
their... Yeah, I don't know. Are you like
bag?
Rubber band? Chips that you eat chips in.
Oh, like a Doritos bag over their head?
Yes.
Oh, no.
And they're dead. And so...
Are they just trying to eat the Doritos and they die, like suffocate themselves?
No, there's been a number of cats that are dead, but they are basically being suffocated with plastic, like Walmart bags.
They're not living their best
bags.
life, like eating all the chips, like they found the bag.
No,
They're
and then
like,
they just got real full. Yeah. So the police were like, this is not only animal cruelty, but extreme behavior, like concerning behavior.
Well, clearly so everybody there's a serial killer in the making.
There's a serial killer in the making in Lakeview.
What do you think his serial killer name would be?
Well, we don't know what he's going to graduate up to. Like, this is how they like begin. So is he going to graduate to killing
tigers,
women,
big cats,
humans?
Could just go to big cats
or bobcats. Then what? Tigers?
Why do they call tigers big cats? Are they just big cats? Well, in Tiger King, they always said big cats. I was like, that's weird to think about.
Okay, so
you don't like my comments? Oh no.
I don't. I have mixed feelings about this cat killer.
So it's just literally cats are randomly throughout the city with bags over their heads strangled,
dead. Yeah.
And they're just finding them like this.
Yes. So it's very concerning.
Oh,
and part of me is like, somebody needs a reward. And part of me is like, it's kind of cruel. I mean, just a little bit.
Wait, who needs a reward?
The person who's there's just too many cats.
Well, but you don't have to really strangle them with a bag.
I mean, you could just put out poison, and I guess there's a more humane way.
Put out poison. Oh my. What if, are you secretly doing this and this is your way of telling on yourself?
People keep asking me, but I would never go near a cat to even do that. So
you would like have a major allergic reaction.
And and fear.
And fear.
And total fear.
What if I showed
could probably
up
have nightmares about this.
with a cat into the podcast one day? Would you leave? Sure.
Yeah. I mean, no, actually you would leave and it would be a one-man show that day. I had a girl show up to camp because she found with a cat.
Oh, no.
And I was like, you're not getting trained today. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, you have to leave?
I will send you the workout, but you do it at home with this cat.
Why did you bring a cat?
Because she found it on her
the way?
Yes.
Well, maybe it was about to be murdered with a plastic bag over its head. I can't believe she did that. She clearly was that. It was probably her first time.
She was new.
Oh no, explains a lot. Listen, did we ever talk about Sherry Papini?
No, I don't know.
She's the girl who faked her kidnapping.
Yes, but I think I don't know if it made it in the show.
Well, can I just say this really quickly about her?
Okay.
So, well, she in 2016, she was kidnapped.
Yes.
She claimed to have been kidnapped. She was gone for like 3 weeks. And then she all of a sudden just shows back up at her house.
Yeah.
And she has a husband, like she's married, she has a kid, all this stuff. Well, she shows back up at her house. She has like chains on her. She has like beaten up, bruises, scrapes, and she has a branding on her shoulder, like she'd been branded.
Mm-hmm.
She's like saying how she escaped. Well, this bitch did all this to herself. She said she was kidnapped by 2 Mexican women.
Yeah.
Gay Mexican women. I don't know if they're gay.
She said, oh.
I don't know.
You just said that?
Well, I might have made that up. Well, then the police finally, because they had this like GoFundMe, and they had raised like $40,000, and they started using that to like pay off their credit cards and stuff. And I guess the police were looking to see if it was being used for whatever it's supposed to be used for.
Wait, who had a GoFundMe? Random people?
Yeah, for her.
Okay, her so-called being
I don't know
missing?
what do you do with. I don't know what you do with the money then, but. They found out that she was using it all for like paying off their credit cards and everything. So she went to prison for a little bit or jail, and then she's like, I can't be in this jail because I have food allergies.
Yeah.
So that was like a big case in 2016, like a big thing, and then I guess I don't know why it took so like 5 years later or 6 years
for it to even come out.
So I just wanted to make sure we talked about that so people can go look her up and keep up to date.
So is she out of jail or is she in jail?
She's out right now.
She actually left with the ex-boyfriend. That's where she was the whole time. But she blamed on Hispanic women.
And she said she didn't have sex with him, but I think she did.
Obviously.
So,
Obviously. Well, I mean...
I have one more story for you.
Okay.
You know, I love a good missing white woman.
Oh, might be the topic of our story today.
So, we have a new one in Florida. She's 37, so she's my age. Her name's Cassie Carley. She had like she's picking up her daughter from school. She takes the daughter with her she's like divorced. She takes the daughter to custody switch. So she's going to give the daughter to her ex or to the baby daddy. And that was like the last time she was seen. Yes. All they have is that she was supposed to pick up her daughter, or she dropped the daughter off. She's gone home. She was never seen again. And apparently like, she didn't return any text messages, so she's been missing for like about a week. The father of the dad says like he hasn't heard from her. He doesn't know. So all of a sudden she's just missing. That's literally all we know. She's just missing.
Okay.
So
where's the kid though?
The kid's fine. The kid's
okay.
The kid's fine. The kid's like with either the dad or like her dad, like the girl, Cassie's dad.
Yeah.
That's literally all we know.
Oh.
But it's popped up on a lot of my Nancy Grace. It popped up on Nancy Grace.
Nancy Grace can jump on it.
Yeah. So she was seen last Sunday. That's the last time she was seen.
It's probably the ex.
It's always the ex.
Always the ex.
Or it's always the husband or...
Well, speaking of missing white woman syndrome, my topic for today is not a missing white woman on purpose. And the reason I'm doing this story is to point out that missing white woman syndrome is a real thing. Caroline clearly has it. I am guilty. We are all guilty because there's not a person out there that doesn't know who Gabby Petito is, right? So I want to tell you about a guy named Jelani Day, who is not a missing white woman.
He's not. He's not at all.
Not even close.
Not even close.
And so this guy went missing probably damn near the same day Gabby did. Like it was, end of August. They were like around, like at the same time. All of it was going on at the same time. So Jelani Day, he was born Jelani Jesse Devontae Day. Yes, he's black. He's a 25-year-old Illinois State graduate student. All right. So if you haven't heard his name, you're going to know who he is after this. He was actually in the speech pathology program at Illinois State, and he wanted to be a speech pathologist and then a goal to get his doctorate. So he was very goal oriented. He had just graduated with his undergrad degree in communicative sciences and disorders from Alabama A&M, and he ran track there. He was described as very smart, very athletic, very compassionate, and very driven. So he had just moved to Illinois at a town called Bloomington, Illinois. And he had got his apartment secured. He had started this program. His first semester, he had got all A's and B's. Like he started off killing it. He was about an hour from home. He was from Danville, which is an hour away from Bloomington, for all you Illinois listeners or non-Illinois listeners. And it was noted that he was very close with his family. How much did you talk to your family when you were in college? Was it like a daily thing? Was there text messaging back then?
I've talked to like my sister a lot. Probably. I talked to him pretty often.
Yeah. Well, he was very close to his family, so he was either always visiting, and when he wasn't visiting, there was always an ongoing conversation. Like he would talk to him multiple times a day. They would text, and if it wasn't to mom and dad, it was to his siblings. Like they were just close.
Yeah, I would say we were pretty close.
And so, the mom would often call him her bill collector, because he called her so much, like a bill collector would hound you.
Yeah.
Cute, huh?
Yeah.
So his dad had been recently diagnosed with cancer, and Jelani, this speaks to his personality to me, was the bone marrow, his donor. Remember? Okay, so you've run Miracle Match Marathon here. Be the match.
Yeah.
Did you ever get swabbed?
Yeah.
To be the me too.
Yeah.
And I had my donor card and everything because I would have donated something. Never got picked.
Some leukemia?
Yeah, the blood, is it blood cancer?
Yeah.
Bone cancer? Bone marrow cancer?
Bone marrow.
Yeah.
That's what Casey's mom had.
Okay.
That's the reason I don't even know what it really
Did
is.
you just violate HIPAA?
Oh. Oh? What do you mean? What's a HIPAA? HIPAA.
Confidentiality.
I know a
Casey's
HIPAA.
gonna send you a text. Okay. So he was donating bone marrow often to help his dad because he was the only one that was a match.
That's the kind of cancer that the dad had?
Yeah.
And he was a match?
He was a match.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he was doing this to help his dad.
Yeah.
So August 23rd, 2021, so just the other day, was the last time his family ever heard from him. He had talked to his mom on and off that day, like before class, after class. And so when they didn't hear from him on August 24th, it was weird and unusual because it wasn't like him. And at first, just like everybody, well, they say, oh, we figured he was probably busy. But they got concerned really quick. Kara Boaster is a professor at Illinois State. Him and Kara were supposed to meet about his upcoming classes on August 24th. Well, he didn't show up to this meeting, unlike him. And then she texted him and he didn't respond. Well, she thought, well, he's got class at 1 o'clock. I'll just catch him after class, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he'll be here. I'll see him. So when she found out he didn't show up to class, she was really worried. And she said she immediately called Illinois State University campus police and said something's wrong. So first I was like, is that normal? Like, is this just a teacher that goes above and beyond? Or did she only have 4 students?
Is it a small school or something?
Illinois
I mean, I don't
State?
know. I guess you...
I wouldn't think so. But I had to think about my grad program is...
How old is he again?
He is 25.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was older, mature. Yeah. And you think about graduate programs.
So it's probably smaller classes and you're probably working with your professor a lot and stuff.
And then they take absences very seriously in graduate programs. Like undergrad, you can miss up to so many classes.
There's like 100 people in your class. Nobody knows. Yeah.
Well, you're supposed to report absences or basically tell them you're going to be absent, and then you can get your classes made up. You just don't no-show. It's just not very common. And so when she did, I guess she was concerned. When he did no-show, she was concerned. She called the police. Well, the next day, so by Wednesday, those police, the campus police, called the family and said, we can't find Jelani. He's missing. Where the family was already concerned. They had been calling. He never called back. They had gone to his apartment and everything was how was it supposed to be. Nothing was missing. Didn't look like he left in a hurry. It didn't look like it had been ransacked. The only thing was missing was Jelani, wallet, keys, lanyard, and his car. So wherever he was in his car. So this is what, and he drove a 2010 Chrysler white 300. All right. So this is what we know about the timeline for that day. All right. The hashtag for this is going to be what WTF happened to Jelani Day, because I don't know. I want to see if y'all can help me figure it out. All right. So Tuesday, August 24th at 7:20 a.m. He was at the Student Center.
Okay.
Caught on camera.
Yes.
He was dressed very nice. He had on his slacks. He took school seriously. So he had on like dress slacks, dress shirt, a nice like face mask. And his card, he had a payment at Starbucks. So he had bought some Starbucks around that time too. The same Starbucks that's in the Student Center. Then nothing until a little after 9 a.m. He is seen at the Beyond Hello dispensary 2 miles off campus. These people know where to put their dispensaries because the college people are going to spend their money over there, right? So 2 miles off campus, he was seen on camera, but he was wearing different clothes. So I guess after class or after whatever he had that morning, he went home, changed. Now he was more casual. He had on a Jimi Hendrix black shirt, shorts, and some black Nike tennis shoes and a baseball cap. Okay?
Yeah.
So, and his car, his white
Nissan 300?
Chrysler 300 was also seen in the background on camera.
Okay.
So I guess you could see from outside.
Yeah.
All right. And then that was it.
She said.
No, this is me just talking. I lost my place. Okay, so then that was it. There was no more charges after that to his credit card. His cell phone didn't ping off of any more towers. And that's at 1 p.m. is where he missed that class and where the teacher called the police. All right, so this is on the kind of backtrack to what happened the day he went missing. On August 26th, so
2 days.
Yeah, 2 days, at 4:20 p.m., the Peru, Illinois police got a call saying that there was an abandoned car in some trees down by the river.
It was in some trees?
Like hidden in like some trees.
Oh, yeah. In some brush.
Brush and trees and
brush?
branches. It looked like it was hidden.
Yeah.
And so it was Jelani's car. Peru, Illinois is 1 hour away from where Jelani lives. So way out of the way.
Yeah.
And according to his family or friends, he doesn't know anybody in Peru. He wouldn't go to Peru. And I'll kind of talk about why he wouldn't go to Peru here in a little bit. But they wouldn't know why his car would be in Peru. So
it wasn't found at a bank?
No, that was Taylor.
Oh.
It was Taylor Young.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you got all your black people mixed up? See what missing white woman syndrome does? Getting the black kids mixed up.
Listen, I get the white people mixed up too. I get them all mixed up. It's fine.
It's fine.
Whatever happened to Taylor Young, Y-O-U-N-G? Taylor, T-O-U-L-O-R.
T-A-Y-L-O-U-R. That is still...
That one's still...
We don't know. It's still ongoing.
He's
the one that's found in the trunk of the car.
Oh. Yeah, I'm getting them totally mixed up. So, okay, let's go.
Okay,
yep.
So...
Come on, I got it now.
Jelani. Okay, so police immediately go to the scene and they see the car hidden in some trees. License plates were removed.
Weird.
Suspicious. Sus. But there's no damage to the car. There was also no sign of Jelani, nor his wallet or his keys or his school lanyard.
Okay. And no phone?
No phone.
No pinging.
No anything. So the police had the car towed and they had it processed. Good job, police, right?
Oh, no.
They processed the driver's side, like the door handle, the steering wheel, the passenger side. There was a straw, like a cup and a straw. Processed the straw. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a blunt cigar left over, like I guess the rest of it's called, and they processed that. And so they were like, was Jelani driving this car? Was it somebody else? Was somebody with him? They were trying to find some answers, right?
Yeah.
And of course that takes a while. And I never saw anything that came of that. Like there was no other reports about anybody else's DNA being on those things. So it led me to believe, and other people that report on the story, that it was all just Jelani's prints and DNA on these things.
Yeah.
So we can assume that either Jelani was in the car by himself or somebody made it look that way. Either way.
Yeah.
Like were their prints wiped up? I have no idea.
Yeah.
So now people know that Jelani Day is in Peru, so there's a search. Okay, so they start search party. There's drones, there's dogs, and there's people out there, and they're looking in that area where they found the car. And they don't find anything. And the Peru police hesitated that week, but they finally announced that he's gone missing in Peru. And that the car was there, and that anybody with any tips, please call this tip line. Now, Jelani's mom is very vocal. Like she's very well spoken, and you could tell she's probably like the alpha of the family because she was on the police. She was constantly making news interviews because what's going on right now is Gabby Petito, Brian Laundrie, Gabby Petito, Brian Laundrie. she was making a point to go to the news, call the news outlets because she wanted Jelani Day's case and name out there as well. So she got on them. She was like, you need a tip line. You need to put his picture up. Everybody needs to know what's happening. We need to search for my son, which would be any mom, right?
Yeah.
So by that Friday, it was about to be the holiday that's in September, like on September
Labor Day?
Yeah, whenever Westfest always is. Is that Labor Day?
I think it's Labor Day.
The chief of Peru police called. It was like, hey, I'm going to Westfest or wherever he's going on vacation. Going to Westfest, and I'll see you when I get back.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. Okay. That's
great.
It's
not great timing.
No, not at all.
And so mom was like, WTF. So she could not go all weekend and not search, because what if her son was out there?
Well, yeah, and it's like the prime time to do all the searches. Like, yes, in the very beginning.
Why would you just leave? And she kept saying the first 48 hours are the most crucial.
Yeah.
And they were already behind, it was already past those 48 hours. So she gets on social media, and she had already had a Jelani Day page, and she asked for people to show up for a search party. And they searched all that weekend and didn't find anything. But she just felt better that they were out there, right?
Yeah.
On September 4th, okay, authorities receive an anonymous tip. And this tip leads them directly to Jelani's body in the river, about 2 miles. One source said 1 mile down. Another source said 2 miles down from where his car was. An anonymous tip.
Anonymous tip? Really?
Weird.
I think it knows something.
It's a little unusual. So they found him. He was face down in the river. His body was badly decomposed and partly skeletonized.
Skeletal?
Yeah.
I don't know the term.
And not identifiable. Like, supposedly he was so waterlogged and his body was so swollen from being in the water for that long, you couldn't even tell like his race.
Yeah, because you get, I guess
you get pale.
Yeah.
So they couldn't tell if it was a black male. They couldn't tell totally if it was a male or female, because we'll learn later that some of the genitalia was removed.
That's so... What?
Yes. So he was only wearing a tank top and underwear, and he had a black sweater tied around his waist. Float down, facing in the water. That's not what he wore. Where's the Jimi Hendrix shirt? Where's his Nikes? Where's his shorts? Where's everything? So Carmen is the mom, Carmen Day, that she immediately went on the news, and she was just like, I am holding out hope until I get confirmation that is my son. I am going to continue to searching for him, because if that is not, I don't want to waste time, because what if it's not and my son is still out there? Yeah. So I could see how I would want to have that hope too, and not want to like acknowledge like the worst. So she begged, please keep looking, like identify this body. I'll send you our family DNA, but please keep looking just in case. And they wouldn't. They kind of like had their mindset like this is probably him.
Did they confirm it to her at least?
So he's had his bottom jaw was removed. So they thought that they can do dental records, but it was hard. And so they ended up taking DNA from the family and taking a piece of his bone and matched it. But it took 3 weeks. So she had to wait 3 weeks to find out if this unidentified body was her son. And we'll kind of come back to that in a little bit. Okay. So can you imagine what that 3 weeks felt like for her, or all of them, his siblings?
Yeah. I don't know how long that stuff should take, but
yeah. Well, and they were talking about like some of the podcasts.
But did they tell her about the anonymous tip? Like, did they say any? They didn't give.
Oh yeah, because they knew that there was a tip, but then
like, why would they think that? Why were they so sure it was him, based on just this tip?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. I mean, it's suspicious. I agree. And at the time, the police made a report and said that this is kind of weird and unusual. This isn't how a typical missing person case, would go. Like this, it just has different twists and turns. So he didn't have his wallet or his cell phone on him. There was his school ID found near the body, but on the land somewhere, but cell phone and everything was still missing. So couple days later, his wallet randomly shows up. And a person calls it in and says, I just saw a white male in red shorts and a red shirt drop a wallet right here. And it's like somewhere in town in Peru.
What?
Like nowhere. Yeah. So now we got Jelani Day's wallet and everything that's in there should be in there. So it wasn't a robbery. It wasn't like credit cards
So
and
this
money.
person dropped the wallet. The person goes over and just picks it up and it was like, oh, you dropped your wallet.
I mean, it doesn't make sense. And that's all we know.
Well, because that could have been the anonymous tip person. They could have said somebody dropped the wallet. Really, they had the wallet.
Which is weird. Like, why do you want all these things to turn up? Like, if I would have done the killing, I would have made sure nobody ever finds the wallet.
Yeah.
Like, why are you finding ways for it to be turned in? It's just so weird. It's so weird. Now, mom's urging for like more attention. Lizzo, singer, puts a big TikTok video out about it. It's shared. And so the name is kind of out there more and more. Jelani was also an Omega and like in a fraternity. And so a lot of his fraternity brothers were like putting it out there. They had a petition signed because they kind of wanted the FBI to take over this case. Mm-hmm. Okay. Next. So in the car, in the trunk, were some of Jelani's clothes that he had on
in that one
in the last video.
Yeah.
But I don't know which garments. Some of them.
Okay.
The rest of them were found by two white women in town, and they just turned them in and wouldn't answer any questions. And later on, they got lawyers.
What the hell? I'm pissed.
I know. It gets crazier.
Ugh, stress me out. What? Are all these things coming from different people that we know of?
Yes. But like I couldn't find anywhere names.
Anonymous tip came from person 1. Wallet came from person 2. Clothes came from person. What is this? Some kind of group?
Mm-hmm.
Serial killer groups? Is that what we got now?
It's weird. Okay.
Okay.
Coroner's office comes back with toxicology.
Did you know that I'm really good with vocab?
Okay.
Yeah, I was actually toxicologist.
Okay.
Too. Yeah.
Toxicologist.
I was toxicologist and
an autopsist.
Autopsist.
Yeah. Jelani and his system, there was caffeine, there was nicotine, and there was marijuana.
Yeah, same things in my system right now.
And but they were all at healthy like levels, like not 100%. Anything where he could overdose or have a heart attack or whatever. Then they ruled the death a drowning.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm screaming.
That's the one thing that you had.
That's the one
right.
thing I knew. I was like, I know they said it was a drowning, and I'm like, okay, well, if they drowned him, he didn't just drown.
Yes. Well, okay. Yes.
I would say it's getting hot in here, but we already know.
Doesn't matter. Okay, so accidental drowning, or ruled it a drowning. Was it an accident? I don't know.
Oh, must be strong at the bottom.
You gotta mix it up. Okay, then the body was in a suboptimal condition for the autopsy. So it was just so badly decomposed that they couldn't, and waterlogged and wet, that they couldn't do an amazing iPad. What? An amazing autopsy.
And
I'll tell you what
good time to take a break before we get to the iPad.
Do I have Tourette's?
I think so. I think I just caught it from you. Keep that all in.
And now a word from our sponsors.
RogueCon 23. That's right. It is here. It's not back. It's here. It's the first one. Join the ultimate celebration of digital content with its creators, passionate fans, and industry experts. It is all happening in downtown Waco across multiple venues, January 20th through the 22nd of 2023. Now, if you want to go, you got to get tickets, and tickets are on sale at RogueCon23.com. That's RogueCon, RogueCon 23.com. Be there. I'm going to be there. Everybody's going to be there. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't rap, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.
He did not undergo an iPad. He had to have an autopsy. And they couldn't, all they could tell was that there was no ante-mortem injury. So no injury before he died. So they had to rule out everything because you couldn't really tell anything. So they ruled out he was shot. They ruled out he had a heart attack. They ruled out he had an overdose. Ruled out he had blunt force trauma. They ruled out everything else that it could have been and decided it was drowning. Because there's no autopsy test, I guess, that goes for drowning, which I was like, can't they tell if there's water in the lungs?
Let me text Elena from Morbid real quick and see what she says.
Let's see what she says. So, and then they try to allude to a possible suicide.
Really?
Yes.
With all of the stuff.
With all this extra stuff. Yes. So mom was pissed because mom was like, no, sorry, Bob.
No, sorry, Bob.
At all. My son had no depression, had no signs of wanting to end his life, and he had too many goals and dreams, and they're a very Christian family. So they believe that suicide would take you immediately to hell. She's saying this in an interview.
Yeah.
So they ordered another autopsy because they were like, I don't even know if I trust this police department right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I trust this autopsist. I want a second opinion. So that second autopsy came out, and this was it kind of went crazy in the news because the second autopsy came out and it said that Jelani's organs, brain, eyes, genitals, and jawbone were all removed.
They didn't want to tell you that in the first autopsy?
Well, and it was true. But that's all this autopsist put out there. And so when this article hits, people like us, what are we called? Armchair investigators, went crazy with conspiracy theories. And so the term organ harvesting started being thrown out there.
Yep.
And I don't know the true definition, but basically people kill people to take their organs and sell them on the black market.
Yep. That's what I thought it was too.
Yeah. So
I'm not an organ harvester, so I'm not sure, but if I was looking into it, I would not know.
What would you steal? What organ would you steal?
Well, you steal it to sell it? What do people need? Kidneys?
And hearts.
People need hearts,
yeah,
and kidneys, and
my brother's heart, kidneys, and liver was donated, so I would just probably take them all.
Yeah, you just probably need to take all of it.
Yeah.
Well, why would they? Okay, go ahead.
So speculation, and so imagine the family reading this and thinking, could this happen? Could this be? Well, and then the second autopsy was so different from the first autopsy that she had another one done.
Well, you have to because you got to figure out which one is right.
Yes. And so what was true is that all those things were missing, but what they didn't say or communicate is that when you're in the water, especially it's summertime, right? It's August. It's beginning of September, so the water's not cold where it would have preserved the party.
In Illinois.
Well, but it was summertime in Illinois, so they said it was warm water, so that would have helped the body decompose more. So the organs were basically mush, and that there was trauma to the body, but probably due to environmental factors. Like, was it the turtles and the fish and the animals and just stuff like that, just day after day kind of eating away at him. But still, after 3 autopsies, they still didn't know what happened to Jelani. And so the police are kind of just, the mom thinks that the police just kind of want to close the case and like be done with it. But she wants answers. She's not accepting suicide. So they're able to have a funeral for Jelani in October. Ish.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know why the police, who at first said this is weird and unusual and not typical, but now you want to maybe kind of close the case and call it a suicide.
How do you drown yourself? Like what?
And guess what?
Oh my gosh.
He's a great swimmer.
Well, actually,
he
not
was
typical.
I know. So that he did not fall under the stereotype.
He did not fall under the stereotype.
He was on the swim team in high school. I know. He broke all the statistical.
So clearly he was drowned. Like either his head was held under, and then they stole his organs.
Yeah. Or I think his organs were just mush.
Oh, they didn't steal them?
No.
They were just mush.
Mushed, yeah. Yeah.
What about his jaw, though?
They think that was just part of the trauma, and that's like it's only held by little muscles, so that's usually the first thing to go. I didn't know that. Your whole mandible, bottom.
Bone, though? What about bone?
Yeah, but it was not on the body. So wherever it wasn't on the body.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So they have a funeral. They're finally able to have a funeral. And Jesse Jackson attends the funeral. And now he's kind of coming to the family and providing some help and some support, because what Jesse Jackson has said is that the FBI need to take over the case because we're not sure if we can trust the Peru police. And that this case mimics the case of Emmett Till. It was a long time ago, but he was a 14-year-old black kid that was accused of disrespecting a white lady in the store, and he was lynched and submerged into water. And he was in water long enough for his body to be unidentifiable. But this was like in the 50s, so of course they didn't have all the things to identify him.
He just pulled that case out of his head like that?
Yes, because it's a notorious case. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So
for disrespecting a white woman, what does that mean?
Like, he was 14 years old.
Come on. Like,
it's just what it was.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Or it was what it was. So
if you're lynched, is that
hung?
You're hung. Yeah.
Yeah. Lynched, and
Can
then
you remember when they like hung people back in the day? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Actually, they still do that in like China, I think.
Is that their death penalty?
Probably. I watch these infographic things on YouTube, and it's like, places where you still get hung as punishments.
And it's Japan.
I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely.
Well, that was the penalty if a black guy dated a white girl, had sex with a white girl, or disrespected anybody white. Like, it was automatic lynching. And so, so Jesse Jackson's now in the picture. FBI, take over the case. Mom's like, FBI, take over the case. They were collaborating with the police department, but they hadn't taken over the case. Now it's November, and another piece of Jelani's stuff is found, and it's the cell phone.
Oh, tell me. Mouth is watering.
So Mom comes out with this news conference, and just weeks after the funeral, and she says Jelani's cell phone has been found, and supposedly the story that was told to me was a guy was driving down the interstate transporting his mattress until his mattress fell off.
Wait, what? Wait.
He was in his truck, carrying
cars? Never mind.
a mattress in the back of his truck, and his mattress flew off. And when he pulled over to get the mattress off the side of the interstate, he looked down and saw a cell phone.
I can't. What kind of damn movie is this?
What kind of made fiction? Which one's not real? Fiction or nonfiction?
Fiction is
okay.
Not real.
What kind of fictional movie is this? Okay.
It would be a nonfiction movie if it's real life, but it doesn't sound like real life. So
well, they're making the shit up, is what I'm saying. It's fiction.
Yeah.
Okay. So, guess what he does with the cell phone?
Oh, what does he do? Keeps it. Tries to sell it. He tries to pawn it at the pawn shop.
Close. I was like, is he a meth addict? I would just never think to do this.
First of all, let me focus on why did he not tie his mattresses down? You're driving on
why
the highway.
Why don't you have somebody deliver your mattress?
What are you doing with these mattresses in your truck? What's inside those mattresses? Let's cut them open.
You have yellow pea stains on these mattresses.
Did you have fentanyl and meth and cocaine in the mattresses, and you're delivering them to Mexico? Wait, we're in Illinois, so you could be delivering them to Canada. Because I know my maps, girl.
So he
finds his cell phone on the side. He just so happens to pull over right by the cell phone.
Right by the cell phone,
and is like, "Oh, look, a phone."
So he takes the phone to a kiosk in a local Walmart, and I feel like I've seen these before where you can put these phones in. I think you got to put in the serial number, the model. You put them in and they'll pay you whatever the phone's worth. So he put the phone in and he got $80 for the phone. And I guess because of whatever reason, this came to the police's attention. So whereas the phone on a lost and found list where the serial number, if it's run, like it comes up, is it like a license plate? I don't know. But the police find out about it. But you know when he did this? On October 17th. They don't even tell Mom a day until second week of so a month later. So she's pissed because she's like, why would you withhold this information? And where's the phone? And have you looked in it? They hadn't even looked in it. So she says, I actually don't even want y'all to touch it. I want the FBI to touch it. Because she's like, everything seems sketchy to her.
Yeah.
So they don't go through the phone. They turn it over to the FBI. But the FBI still has not taken over the case. They won't pick it up. And now she gets a new lawyer named Ben Crump. And so he's pretty famous because he's covered a bunch of high profile cases, including Tupac. Yes. George Floyd, Trayvon Martin, Breonna Carroll, Ahmaud Arbery. So all the very high profile hate crimes that have happened. And he's one of the most influential people in the world. So now he's the lawyer. And he comes out and he says, this is why we don't need Peru police handling this. The town of Peru is 0.4% black. It is historically a sundown town. Have you heard of Sundown Town?
I don't know.
Sundown Town are towns that want to stay all white on purpose. And so not too long ago, but longer, not in real recent, there used to be signs up in these towns. And the signs were basically, don't get caught after dark. So black people were not allowed. You could drive through the town all you want during the day. But after dark, if you're caught, you're arrested, you're beat, or you're killed.
You're arrested?
Arrested, beat, or killed. And so there's a lot of towns that still follow these rules or believe in this, but they don't have signs up anymore. We have a couple in Texas. One is Vidor, like on your way to Houston. Hyco, right down the road towards Stephenville, used to be one. I don't think they're as bad now.
Vidor is where that 24-year-old girl shot that 16-year-old girl recently.
Oh, the one you just sent me? Well, that's where Candyman Dean Coral was from.
Is he white or black?
White.
I didn't know because there's another Candyman though. I think
the movie.
Oh shit.
Oh, at least she's pretty.
Bless her heart.
One of the Candyman's black? Yes, he actually was.
Well, see, I
you
got
that question right.
Yeah, get it right.
So
they're super racist town.
Super racist town. They're known to have white power marches. And one of the locals was interviewed and asked if the town was still a sundown town. And he said no. But, quote, if I was not white and I was here, my life would be goddamn miserable, unquote. Because I don't say that word. Sorry, mama.
So, yeah.
So historically, some people went way back historically what happened in the town, but just how it hasn't progressed.
That's so
at all.
Crazy.
So Ben Crump, Jesse Jackson, and now Mama, they're all like, something's fishy. And they're leaning towards this must be what happened to my son. Like, was this a hate crime? But
how did he get there? I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Because that's why he wouldn't go there, obviously.
Yeah.
We said that.
Yeah.
But it's like, how did he even end up to where he got there?
We have no idea because his cell phone was turned off at the dispensary. Basically after the dispensary. And so nothing from 9 a.m., we don't know. All we know is that his body was found at 4:20 2 days later.
But they can't turn it on. They weren't able to get it on or look at it?
They were able to turn on the phone. And if you search, this is what I don't like about ongoing cases is because there's so many holes.
Yeah.
What they did find is that Kara Bolster, the professor that called the Illinois police, was actually texting Jelani the nights before he went missing. So when I first read Kara's story, or not story, but how she entered the picture, I was like, wait a minute, let me see what Kara looks like.
Oh,
I need you to Google C-A, y'all, look out there, C-A-R-A, Boester, B-O-E-S-T-E-R, and you can put plus Jelani Day.
Put plus Jelani Day?
Yeah, well, or it just adds because they'll make sure they connect them. So she's not an old professor that's wears pearls in a long dress.
She's this white lady?
She's a young white lady who's kind of thick. And what are white girls who are thick, kind of bigger? Who do they usually like to talk to?
I mean, she doesn't look cute.
No. But she's not a traditional college professor is what I would... It's I pictured in my head maybe an old white lady. Concerned.
My friend Ashley is a college professor, and she does not look like what you would even think a college. Do you know my friend?
Right.
Yeah.
So my thing was, why... So could there have been more with Jelani and Kara?
I don't know.
That's what went in my head. And then why is Professor texting Jelani the night before he goes missing? And so her response was, we were texting about the meeting the next day. Very well could be it. Like, we talk through text all the time.
I was picturing her to be like this cute, you know.
No, but that's definitely like a white girl that'll date a black man.
Yeah, but I don't
like
think
the
he
white
would
girl
go for her.
stereotype.
I don't think he would go for her.
Black men like thick girls.
I need to gain some weight.
Like, to me, she's the white girl who dates a black man stereotype. To me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not every.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But
I just didn't think, I was like thinking you were going there, but then I looked and I was like, really?
So the ongoing thing is when a white girl gets too fat for a white man, she's got to go to the black guys.
Well, hell. I guess I need to get
some
fat.
weight. Gain some weight. You better gain some weight.
I mean, he's like,
oh, he's good looking.
I know.
He's trim. He was like 6'2". He was 180.
He's real tall.
Yeah. Athlete. So he looked good. Okay. So when that came out, people kind of made her life miserable. So I'm sorry, Kara. I'm just reporting like what people have already thought and said is that they think that Kara.
I mean, what if this was your professor?
Had something to do with it. Yeah, I'd date her.
I know.
I
just, yeah.
So
they thought that there's a little something just because of the text messages that were, but they couldn't read what they said. They couldn't see them.
No, I don't
They
think
probably
so.
couldn't get in I don't know, because
they were able to turn the phone on and get some of this, but they couldn't actually like see from the screen is what I thought.
Like you could see times that numbers were text and stuff.
Yeah.
You just can't see what
but not the
said.
actual things. But she had said that they were texting about their meeting that was supposed to happen next day.
Phone.
Yeah. And so that mixed with, you immediately called the police because he didn't come. He missed one meeting with you. Like, why were you that overly concerned?
Oh.
Was there any, like, did you have another, was there anything else going on? And that's why. Would you have called for another student? Like, basically.
Yeah.
So people were like going and going and going.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just play with the suicide theory, right?
Okay.
Because the theory is either suicide or foul play. Couldn't be anything else. Couldn't be Marshall Applewhite came and on the UFO and then like dropped him back off. It's not that at all.
I do have a question.
Okay.
Is Queen Elizabeth dead?
I have no idea.
Because the theory is, Sherry Shriner said that the royal family, they're all reptilians, and they zip and unzip their skin suits and stuff. And maybe they like shapeshift and all this stuff. But so the theory is that she got COVID in like February, and
Queen Elizabeth did?
Yes. And apparently she hasn't been doing things like live in public. And so either she died and they have not said anything because they don't know, because like there's the war going on and they don't want like Charles to take over because he's like Charles, or that maybe they have like a double because she really died and they have a double and they're just like, I don't know.
That's the new theory?
I don't know. That's just what I've maybe thought.
That's your theory?
It could be my theory.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, you never know.
What's she the queen of?
England?
Well, what does that have to do with the war?
Because it's like the UK is like
they're all together.
Yeah, like they're really close, and they're all like in Europe.
I walked in a class the other day, and they're covering continents, and I was like, I probably need to stay for this.
Oh my, you probably did. They're all in Asia. They're in Asia. Asia's a continent, and Europe and Russia are both. That's not right. No, not right.
Mike's pissed.
I can't.
We can't hear.
Like, what? I don't think
Asia is its own.
Asia is a continent.
Yeah.
Europe is in Asia.
No, it's
the
not.
continent.
No.
Oh.
Europe is not.
It's separate, right?
Europe's not in a continent.
Europe's its own like region?
It's got to be on a continent.
Is it its own continent?
Eurasia.
Yeah, let's go with that. Eurasia.
But Russia's in Asia, right? What's a continent? Aren't there 7?
It's not a vowel.
There's 7 continents, right?
I walked out of the class.
Australia, Asia, Antarctica, North Africa, North America, South America, Africa, and
Europe.
Oh shit! Europe
It's
is
its
its own
own.
continent. Oh, get it?
This shit is staying in. Oh, y'all just had oh look, there's a picture.
I think
Hey,
it's
but they're not
upside
connected
down.
like that anymore, are they?
Listen, you know how? That does not look familiar either way. That's the worst map I've ever seen.
Oh my goodness. We just had 14 people unsubscribe. They were all geography teachers.
They were yelling at it. Listen, if you are a geography teacher and you want to tell us, then you should tell us. Okay?
We're not going to listen. Let's do this suicide theory.
Oh my gosh, I forgot Europe was gone. Okay, keep going.
Okay. Europe
It's
is in
because
Asia.
I'm having a heat stroke. Because he won't turn on that air because it rattles.
Okay, if Jelani Day committed suicide,
Okay.
this is what would have had to happen.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes. He would
You
have
tell
to
me if
tie
you
a
think-
cinder block around a rope around his ankle and drown.
No, because there
Okay.
was none.
I know, but I'm like, that's how you'd have to do it. To drown. Go ahead.
You tell me if you think this could happen. Like, give me a thumbs up or a yes or no.
Okay.
So he would have had to have leave the dispensary, drive an hour away to Peru
For no reason.
for no reason.
Like, why are you?
Like,
you know you're not going to Peru.
He would have actively had to choose to go to a sundown town to die. Right?
Yeah.
On his way there, he throws his cell phone out. Then he goes into town, he throws his wallet out. Then he takes off only some of his clothes and he throws them out in town. Then he drives to this random secluded forestry area by the river and maybe smokes a blunt, maybe he smokes it on the way there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Then he gets out of his car and takes off the rest of his clothes and puts them in the trunk.
Yeah.
And then walks a mile-ish down
With no pants,
with no clothes
no
on,
shoes.
throws down his lanyard, and then chooses to drown himself in the water, even though he loves to swim and he's a great swimmer.
Yep.
Does any of that sound
100%
like
accurate.
you? Okay,
Yeah,
case
I'm
closed.
there. Oh, yeah, it's closed.
Case closed. You
All
would co-sign on
Yep,
that? Yeah.
call
Send
me.
Caroline the paperwork.
Yep, submit paperwork. We got it. We have solved the case.
Or it's foul play,
Tell me.
which either Jesse Jackson says that these two women that had her turned in his clothes and then went and got lawyers and won't cooperate,
Yeah, what's up with them?
he actually knew them and they had ongoing texts.
Do we see those?
No.
Ugh.
This is I don't know if this was ever corroborated. I don't know if they're keeping a lot of this under the hush. Jesse Jackson said
True,
this.
they probably do know. They just don't release. You can't release everything.
Yeah. Or it was a hate crime.
Okay, so how does that work? I mean, I know what a hate, but like.
So was he, or why was he actually caught in a sundown town after dark?
But why would he be there? That's what's weird.
Was he meeting these two girls? See, when I saw this, I was like, look at his apps. Was he meeting somebody? Were they supposed to meet up? Was he supposed to meet with
That's the
these
thing,
girls
like,
or some
why are they
girls?
not, like, surely you can find more stuff on this phone.
I would think, and I think they're trying to keep, I would hope they're trying to keep things quiet. But the only reason why I think a guy would even think about going this far would be for a piece of ass.
That's pretty far to go. For
Yeah.
it. The teacher wasn't good enough. See, I told
Yeah.
you.
And then I even looked to see, where's the teacher from? Is she from Peru? Have ties for Peru? So those are the theories. A lot of people say that the teacher could have something to do with it and that they were maybe meeting up, or that they did meet up and it went wrong and the teacher drove them there, knowing that that's a sundown town. There's just so many.
But in his car?
Yeah.
Well, then how did she get back? I don't know.
I don't know. These are just like people on the couch think like me and you.
So if we're thinking it's a hate crime, it would be he was driving to hook up with these two chicks or whatever, hang out with these two chicks. And then maybe before he met, or like he's just driving through town and it's dark and he gets, what do?
Or they set
pull
him
you
up.
over? Or
they set him up. I have no idea. Like we would just be pulling shit out of our ass. Those are just people think, was this a hate crime, or was this a suicide, or did these girls have something to do with it?
Well, clearly, why are they getting attorneys? If you are just like find stuff on the side of the road,
I would be as compliant as I could.
If I'm gonna get questioned as a suspect in some kind of something, like, I'm not going to talk to the cops, even if you're innocent. I mean, I know you don't, which I'm kind of contradicting what I just said, but I feel like you're not. You're not. It's different if it's like you're the spouse of somebody. Like, I would understand getting an attorney because you don't want to talk to cops at that point.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, and we don't know what happened behind the scenes. Did the people in Illinois know who these girls were, and were they harassed? Because people can be ugly. And then were they accused of stuff? So then they had to get lawyers to kind of protect themselves. Was it something like that? Even though they did just turn in some random clothes? Or was it something
And how did they
more?
Just both find the clothes?
I don't know. It's just,
they just
it's
like
crazy.
Holding hands, walking down the street, and they're like, "Oh, there's clothes. Let's go turn these clothes in." If I saw clothes on the side of the road, I'd be like, "Oh, gross!" Like,
what would make you? What would even make you pick them up?
Driving. That is suspicious.
It's all suspicious.
Why would you pick up random clothes? Ooh, that's gross. So that is weird. They're connected. I figured it out. Just now.
They're connected.
They had something to do with it. They set him up. Or they were like, maybe he was supposed to get something from the dispensary and give it to him. And they're like, you didn't get us the right stuff. Now we're mad. And they called their guy. And then the guy came and did his thing. And he put him in the river. And then the girls were like, oh, we found his clothes. And they're like, well, we kind of feel bad because now we have his clothes.
My only thing is like, if I had something to do with it, I would just get rid of the clothes.
Yeah. Like,
why turn them in?
Burn them.
Yeah.
Put them in the dumpster.
I don't know.
Come on.
So,
be creative.
Carmen Day, we're at the end because there's nothing else to really know.
Yeah.
Carmen, Jelani's mom, continues to do news interviews. She doesn't want Jelani's name to be forgotten. Rapper Offset has been involved with it. He actually paid for the funeral. Lizzo, Viola Davis, How to Get Away with Murder lady.
Yeah.
We're all advocates for Jelani.
Why doesn't she solve it? She knows how to get away with it. Girl, come on.
And then
so it's getting coverage.
So yes, it's getting coverage. She had to beg and beg to get coverage, but this is still in the middle of like all Gabby and Brian. Yeah. So she does go to the conference, the mom, to one of the news conferences. She says, I feel horrible for Gabby's parents. I know exactly what they're going through.
Well, and I think that's what Gabby's parents said too. They were like,
please go
we're
look.
Grateful that like this is getting so much attention, but it's almost like I love it, but I feel bad like that it's taken away from others.
Yeah.
And he wanted to make
and it's not anybody's fault.
Yeah, it's just how it
it's I don't know how,
because I didn't even know about it.
An interesting I don't know why. It wasn't even overly interesting.
I think
story.
It was because that she was putting her stuff out there. And then that those people came across her body too. Those van people, the van life people are. But
it was bigger way before that.
Yeah,
it was big from the beginning. But here's what's crazy is that a big, it might have been like Chicago News, I think, put out a big story about Jelani Day, and so they were like, yes, the more people we could reach. Why did they have Jelani Day's story but Gabby Petito's picture? It's pissed the family
recently?
off. This was like when it was happening. Like later that fall, November, December.
Oh my God.
So just now recently, like just the other day, the Jelani Day bill was passed. And Mom was so upset that it took 3 weeks for them to identify the body. And the Illinois police were like, we were backed up. I'm sorry. Which is right. Like we hear that a lot, that you're not going to be able to, it's not like you watch Law and Order and it comes back in, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And so, but she said there should be a law that says that if your own department is backed up, that you could seek help from the FBI who's not backed up. And they could do it in a more timely manner instead of families waiting weeks and weeks and weeks. And they said it's up to 80 days that you have to wait for any of this stuff. So there's the Jelani Day bill, which is something positive that's come out of this.
So it what does it do? It just speeds up, or it lets you go?
It tells the police that they have to, if they think it's going to be, I don't know if they put days on there. Is it for like
somebody who's missing, or like who is found, or how does?
Like the DNA, if they need to have DNA run, or it's actually identification of bodies. So if a body's found and this family thinks it might be their family, people are waiting to know if it's their kid or husband or son. If your police department can't get in a timely manner, you have to go to the FBI for help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
I think it's just identification of a dead body. It's not like everything else, like swabbing and all the DNA stuff. So here's what I think. This is going to be the call to action that we're going to try to do with all this whole month. There's the family has put up a $25,000 reward to help solve or figure out what happened to Jelani Day on that day, on August 24th. The FBI has a $10,000 reward to match that. You're to call 1-800-FBI. I don't remember what it is. But it is literally like that. You call your local FBI. Every state has their own FBI office.
Does Europe have a different number?
I think yours, yeah. I think they start with 800.
Okay.
Not 1.
Okay.
You can also, if you want to continue to follow this case, follow the Justice for Jelani Day Facebook page. Mom is very active on there. She does a lot of call to actions. She'll want you to post a picture or article or something every once in a while. Use the hashtag what happened to Jelani Day. Share his picture. Say his name. Call out that Peru police because they are actually still in charge of the case because the FBI didn't take it over, with collaboration from the FBI. So that's the biggest. Yeah, I mean, that's April, probably the best part, right?
You are actually in the FBI?
I mean, I tried to text Spencer Reed and Derek Morgan from Criminal Minds, and they hadn't texted me back.
They were busy. Were they at the Oscars? So they were busy.
Yeah, they're still shocked.
They're still in shock. They're just now realizing what happened.
Family deserves some answers, and there's my first WTF story, because literally I was like, WTF.
Bruh.
And I hate this because you do kind of leave feeling like unsatisfied.
That's why we hate Unsolved, or I at least do, but like it's good to like get it out there, talk about it, give the 1-800 FBI number so they can call FBI. Crime Stoppers. I know.
Yes.
Well, that was great. I'm glad I was updated because I was getting
real confused.
Both of those cases twisted.
Confused.
Twisted up like a damn knot.
Do you want to tell them what you're talking about next week? Do you know yet? Are we covering Missy? Are you covering Missy?
Am I? We are doing Missy Beavers at some point.
Yeah.
This month. There's I have come across a lot of stories.
Okay.
So no, I don't know who it is going to be yet.
All right.
But I don't know if it's gonna be an unsolved case from several years ago or from recent, but there's a lot of them. There's 250,000 I saw somewhere of unsolved cases.
Oh, it's
probably
crazy.
more than that.
I was just looking at the Texas ones, and they just did top 20. It's like, how do you have a top 20? But there's so much more. So many more. It's crazy, y'all. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah. Send us some, comments on continents.
Give us a geography lesson, please.
I was supposed to be a geography teacher. Now I've ruined it.
You did not pass your
I was really
generalist.
On the way.
Midway, you missed out.
I was on my way to being teacher of the year.
Yeah.
But you know what? Not anymore, because I forgot that Europe was a continent.
This bitch said Europe. I even knew that. Europe was not in Asia. I wouldn't even think they were friends.
He keeps holding up some map. It does not look like a map of anything.
It's because you're not aware of the continents.
No, I've been looking at globes lately on my phone because my friend just got back she went to the Maldives. So I had to say, I was like, where are the Maldives? And they're below India.
Oh, I want to go there.
It was like a little hut house.
Yes. That's where I want to go.
I was so jealous. I was like, who do I need a scissor to get there?
Scissor? Not anything else.
Because she went with another a girlfriend of hers. And she was like, well, she paid for the trip. And I was like, what you got to be doing to get on that trip?
Scissor. Can 3 people scissor?
I'm sure it could be figured out.
It's gonna, yeah. I'll probably try to figure that out tonight.
Yeah, it's a woke world out there, April. It's a LGBTQIABXW247.
Y'all,
that's a new letter.
Please give us a rating. Yeah. Review to us and subscribe to us. We got a lot of people listening to old episodes, so we'd love to know how you feel about some of these episodes, the good and the bad. So go out there and do it. Follow us on all the platforms.
Yeah, do it.
YouTube's coming out real soon so that you can watch us.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is there anything else?
Probably, but I don't know.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. All right, so don't forget to
stay aware.
Stay alive.
And always be DTF.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Down to fine.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.
Join the ultimate celebration of digital content with its creators, passionate fans, and industry experts. It's all happening in downtown Waco across multiple venues on January 20th through the 22nd, 2023. Tickets are on sale now at roguecon23.com.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't rap, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.